Hello, welcome back to Sunset Salutations. My name is Kristin Devine. I'm so glad you found yourself here to take a half an hour to enjoy yourself and the present moment. It's a beautiful sunny day here. Let's start today with a passage from Wherever You Go, There You Are on generosity. Using the cultivation of generosity as a vehicle for deep self-observation and inquiry, as well as an exercise in giving, is an excellent experiment. A good place to start is with yourself. See if you can give yourself gifts that may be true blessings, such as self-acceptance or some time each day with no purpose, like our sunset salutation here. See if you can give yourself gifts. Practice feeling deserving enough to accept these gifts without obligation, to simply receive from yourself and from the universe. See if you can be in touch with the core within you, which is rich beyond reckoning in all important ways. Let that core start radiating its energy outwardly through your entire body and beyond. Experiment with giving away this energy in little ways at first, directing it toward yourself and toward others with no thought of gain or return. Give more than you think you can, trusting that you are richer than you think. Celebrate this richness. Give as if you had inexhaustible wealth. This is called kingly giving. I am not talking solely of money or material possessions, although it can be wonderfully growth-enhancing, uplifting, and truly helpful to share material abundance. Rather, what is being suggested here is that you practice sharing the fullness of your being, your best self, your enthusiasm, your vitality, your spirit, your trust, your openness, above all, your presence. Share it with yourself, with your family, with the world. What I really love about this passage is the intentionality about taking time to not focus about time, to enable yourself moments within each day that are simply about those moments. There's no external goal. There's no, I have to finish this by. There are no deadlines. There's simply the present. And to feel deserving of the generosity within yourself for setting the time up ahead, to know that this is something you can look forward to be present and not be thinking future and not be thinking past. There's all of these dualities within this practice about timeliness and timelessness and focusing completely on the present. And you can get sort of heady about all of it, but I think the central point is that it's a gift to be in the now, that there are worries inherent in the future or marinating on the pains of the past. Even if you're looking at things like your past successes and things that bring you joy, there are so many gifts in each moment. And if we're focusing on something coming up, or we're blinded by remembering something from the past, we can't receive all the gifts of the now. And there's so much generosity in taking time for ourselves to do just that. And I'm grateful to be sharing this time to do that with you. And I hope you're really enjoying the feeling right now of knowing there's nothing else that needs to be done. You are where you are, and that's the only place you have to be. So congratulations on that. Isn't that awesome? All right, let's get ourselves into alignment, ready for our meditation. I'm going to find myself on all fours here. The very first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot my energy through my fingertips, past the mat, deeply rooted there, and send that energy all the way up to the shoulders until I feel strong. Excellent. From here, I'm going to take an inhale, lift myself up to the sky, and exhale, finding my belly button. Inhaling up to the sky. Exhaling, finding a deep feeling of roundness here. Oh, that's gorgeous. And lifting all the way up. And rounding inward. Fabulous. I'm going to revisit some of the postures that I so enjoyed from yesterday and find them anew today in my current now. I'm going to work my knees just a touch backwards from where they were and press my hands a touch forward. So I can't find sort of an easy where is my center here. I'm going to do my best to flatten my back out to start. Great. Now I'm going to shoot my hips all the way forward, trying to work extra space between my ears and my shoulders, creating a long neck. I'm going to work my hips all the way back here, almost to my seat, and work around in a circle, continuing to think about elongating my spine, elongating my neck, enjoying this feeling of play, and noticing how the openness in my body is affecting the way that I feel. I can already sense a greater feeling of optimism as I'm opening my heart center here. I'm pushing back into child's pose. I'm reminding myself to roll my shoulders down my back, lower, 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 keeping my neck elongated, stretching towards the top of my mat, and pushing back all the way onto my heels, almost as if I can push myself away from the mat with my arms and hands. Allowing my body to fully breathe here, involving my breath with each movement, and coming back up to my sort of elongated all fours here. Excellent. I'm going to push back a touch. Great. I'm going to cross my right foot over. I'm going to find my left elbow down. I'm going to reach my wide fingers all the way back towards my shoulder. I'm going to place a tented hand with my right hand back here. Now I'm going to shift my hips all the way over to the left. Nice work. And I'm going to push myself back. I'm going to use my right arm as leverage. I'm going to fill my rib cage with air and allow myself to fully breathe into this stretch. This is quickly becoming one of my favorites. I really feel a sense of space here. I notice that there's tightness that's not normally getting worked out in my intercostals here. I'm just going to come up for a touch and give myself the opportunity to even more fully explore the stretch by pushing my elbow out a touch more, leaning even further into my left hip. I want to make sure, though, that my shoulder, my right shoulder, is in alignment. Just taking a breath or two more here. Excellent. Now, I'm going to uncross that right foot, and I'm going to widen my knees, wide as my mat, And I'm going to push back into child's pose here, allowing myself to luxuriate in this breath, being generous, as we've talked about, with my time and my energy, and dedicating this moment, this now, to noticing where I am, to feeling an enhanced space. I can tell that this child's pose is unique from the last one, that there is a progress. And I love how this one feels right now. All right, coming up, undulating all the way through the spine, bringing my knees closer together. Excellent. I'm going to take my left foot, cross it over my heel. Good. I'm going to lean back just a touch. I need to create a little more space here. I'm going to find my elbow on the mat, taking my wide hand, reaching for my shoulder with tented hands. Good. I'm finding myself here. Now I'm going to shift my weight all the way over into my right hip, and I'm going to lean all the way back. Good. If you have to move your tented hand a little bit because you're really able to get into that stretch, that's fine. Feel almost like a cat here. I'm noticing little pockets of space between each vertebra. I feel an extension through my arm. I've never realized I have tension in my armpit, but I'm releasing that in this stretch, which is so fabulous. And coming up, coming all the way forward. And I'm going to uncross my legs, allow myself to widen out into child's pose. Reach, 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 reach. Rolling myself down my spine, down my back, shoulders all the way down and back, creating more space. And I'm also shifting the majority of my weight as deep and low as possible. Almost as if there's an anchor down in my pelvis. Just another breath or two here. And undulating up through the spine, bringing my knees in, uncrossing my feet, and taking one last gaze up at your ceiling or your fan, or if you're outdoors like me, the sky. It's sunset time here, but perhaps it's a night sky where you are. That was so lovely. My body feels very ready to take my seat. As I find myself on my cushion, I think about deeply weighting myself, feeling at one with the earth beneath me, and allowing a full expansion into my lower belly as I acquaint myself with my breath. And today, I encourage you, if you've been leaving your hands on your knees, as we're experiencing this feeling of generosity, to open ourselves up to the world around us, leaving our palms up to the sky, feeling a lightness and an ease all the way through the spine to the top of the head. Focusing your concentration entirely on the breath. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. Breathing in generosity and breathing out nurturing. Find that for yourself. I'm going to share a passage with you as you meditate. The mountain meditation. When it comes to meditation, mountains have a lot to teach, having archetypal significance in all cultures. Mountains are sacred places. People have always sought spiritual guidance and renewal in and among them. The mountain is the symbol of the prime axis of the world, the dwelling place of the gods, Mount Olympus, and in the books of spiritual leaders, in commandments and covenant, like Mount Sinai. Mountains are held sacred, embodying dread and harmony, harshness and majesty. Rising above all else on our planet, they beckon and overwhelm with their sheer presence. Their nature is elemental, rock hard, rock solid. Mountains are the place of visions, where one can touch the panoramic scale of the natural world and its intersection with life's fragile but tenacious rootings. Mountains have played key roles in our history and prehistory. In meditation practice, it can be helpful sometimes to borrow these wonderful archetypal qualities of mountains and use them to bolster our intentionality and resolve, to hold the moment with an elemental purity and simplicity. The mountain image held in the mind's eye and in the body can freshen our memory of why we are sitting in the first place and of what it truly means. Each time we take our seat to dwell in the realm of non-doing, mountains are quintessentially emblematic of abiding presence and stillness. The mountain meditation can be practiced in the following way or modified to resonate with your personal vision of the mountain and its meaning. It can be done in any posture, but I find it most powerful when I am sitting cross-legged on the floor so that my body looks and feels most mountain-like, inside and out. Being in the mountains or in sight of a mountain is helpful, but not at all necessary. It is the inner image which is the source of power here. Picture the most beautiful mountain you know of, or can imagine. One whose form speaks personally to you. As you focus on the image or the feeling of the mountain in your mind's eye, notice its overall shape. The lofty peak, the base rooted in the rock of the earth's crust, the steep or gently sloping sides. Note as well how massive it is, how unmoving, how beautiful, whether seen from afar or up close. A beauty, embodying universal qualities of mountainness, transcending particular shape and form. Perhaps your mountain has snow at the top and trees on the lower slopes. Perhaps it has one prominent peak, perhaps a series of peaks or a high plateau. However it appears, just sit and breathe with the image of this mountain, observing it, noting its qualities. When you feel ready, see if you can bring the mountain into your own body so that your body sitting here and the mountain of the mind's eye become one. Your head becomes the lofty peak, your shoulders and arms the sides of the mountain, your buttocks and legs the solid base rooted to your cushion on the floor or to your chair. Experience in your body the sense of Uplift the axial, elevated quality of the mountain deep in your own spine. Invite yourself to become a breathing mountain, unwavering in your stillness. Complete what you are, beyond words and thought, a centered, rooted, unmoving presence. Now, as well as you know, throughout the day, as the sun travels to the sky, the mountain just sits. Light and shadow and colors are changing virtually moment to moment in the mountain's stillness. Even the untrained eye can see changes by the hour. These evoke those masterpieces of Claude Monet, who had the genius to set up many easels and paint the life of his inanimate subjects hour by hour, moving from canvas to canvas as the play of light, shadow, and color transformed cathedral, river, or mountain, and thereby wake up the viewer's eye. As the light changes, as night follows day, and day night, the mountain just sits, simply being itself. It remains still as the seasons flow into one another, and as the weather changes moment by moment and day by day, calmness abiding all change. In summer, there is no snow on the mountain, except perhaps for the very top or in crags shielded from direct sunlight. In the fall, the mountain may display a coat of brilliant fire colors. In winter, a blanket of snow and ice. In any season, it may at times find itself enshrouded in clouds or fog, or pelted by freezing rain. The tourists who come to visit may be disappointed if they can't see the mountain directly, but it's all the same to the mountain, seen or unseen, in sun or clouds. Broiling or frigid, it just sits, being itself. At times visited by violent storms, buffeted by snow and rain and winds of unthinkable magnitude, through it all the mountain sits. Spring comes, the birds sing in flower blooms in the high meadows and on the slopes. Streams overflow with waters of melting snow. Through it all, the mountain continues to sit, unmoved by the weather, by what happens on the surface, by the world of appearances. As we sit holding this image in our mind, we can embody the same unwavering stillness and rootedness in the face of everything that changes in our own lives, over seconds, hours, and years. In our lives and in our meditation practice, we experience constantly the changing nature of mind and body and of the outer world. We experience periods of light and dark, vivid color and drab dullness. We experience storms of varying intensity and violence. In the outer world and in our own lives and minds, buffeted by high winds, by cold and rain, we endure periods of darkness and pain, as well as savoring moments of joy and uplift. Even our appearance changes constantly, just like the mountains, experiencing a weather and a weathering of its own. By becoming the mountain in our meditation, we can link up with its strength and stability and adopt them for our own. We can use its energies to support our efforts to encounter each moment with mindfulness, equanimity, and clarity. It may help us to see that our thoughts and feelings, our preoccupations, our emotional storms and crises, even the things that happen to us, are much like the weather on the mountain. We tend to take it personally, but its strongest characteristic is impersonal. The weather of our own lives is not to be ignored or denied. It is to be encountered, honored, felt, known for what it is, and held in high awareness since it can kill us. In holding it in this way, we come to know a deeper silence and stillness and wisdom than we may have thought possible, right within the storms. Mountains have this to teach us, and more, if we can come to listen. Yet, when all is said and done, and mountain meditation is only a device, a finger pointing us towards somewhere, we still have to look then go. While the mountain image can help us become more stable, human beings are far more interesting and complex than mountains. We are breathing, moving, dancing mountains. We can be simultaneously hard like rock, firm, unmoving, and at the same time soft and gentle and flowing. We have a vast range of potential at our disposal. We can see and feel. We can know and understand. We can learn, we can grow, we can heal, especially if we learn to listen to the inner harmony of things and hold the central mountain axis through thick and thin. Enjoy a moment of quiet stillness. Concentrate fully on your breath. If you enjoy a mantra for your practice, try breathing in generosity, breathing out nurturing. In generosity, out nurturing. Release the concentration on the breath and allow the mind to wander just for a moment. Unanchor yourself from the breath and let the mind fly. Slowly allow yourself to find presence in the room again. Feel the breeze of your AC. Hear the patter of raindrops outside. Maybe the honk of car horns. Whatever is in the room with you today. As you start to feel sensations, give your toes and fingers a wiggle. Become full in your body again. And when you're ready, allow your eyes to open. 2 brief poems to share with you as our closing today. The birds have vanished into the sky, and now the last cloud drains away. We sit together, the mountain and me. Only the mountain remains. This is on eachness and suchness. The ocean is a whole, but it has countless waves, every one different from all the others. It has currents, each unique, ever-changing. The bottom is a landscape all its own, different everywhere. Similarly, the shoreline. The atmosphere is whole, but its currents have unique signatures, even though they are just wind. Life on Earth is a whole, yet it expresses itself in unique time-bound bodies, microscopic or visible, plant or animal, extinct or living. So there can be no one place to be. There can only be your way. No one way to practice, no one way to learn, no one way to love, no one way to grow or to heal, no one way to live, no one way to feel, no one thing to know or be known. The particulars count. Thank you so much for joining me today. I've really enjoyed this time. If you find yourself enjoying this meditation, Feel free to share it with others. We are now on YouTube, so feel free to pass this link along to friends and family. We would love to be a community that meditates together. Hashtag Elville Dance Together. We are so lucky to have one another. Thank you for joining me. This has been Sunset Salutations.